But if that was all, it would be so simple. Because on top of that, we also have a massive carbon dioxide emission problem. Because we have not simply multiplied the consumption of energy, we have above all multiplied the consumption of carbon energy. Because if we had developed the use of wind or hydropower, it wouldn't have been a problem, but I don't think I've seen fucking wind turbines on the roof of cars or factories. Because carbon energy actually consists of burning carbon-rich materials to turn a turbine or a piston, so it's kinda normal that there is an increase of the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere if we increase the energy consumption on this scale. Moreover, this increase of the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is what we observe in absolutely all the fucking methods of measurements, and which exceeds thresholds never reached before for those who would still have doubts. We managed to know it over the last 800 fucking thousand years, thanks to the method of high scores, and in a much more precise way with systematic measurements since 1957. And we can tell that it is a carbon of human origin, thanks to the analysis of the type of carbon present in the atmosphere, and the decrease in concentration of oxygen, because if there is less oxygen in the atmosphere, it means that it has turned into combustion. And finally, we can also know this with a very rapid and very strong increase that has been observed for 200 years, at the exact same fucking time as the Industrial Revolution. So if it is not because of the human activity, you'll have to tell me how the fuck it is possible that right when we start to burn coal, there is a fucking massive increase in the concentration of CO2, which has never been so rapid and significant ever before. And then there I talked about emissions related to energy, which constitutes the vast majority of carbon dioxide emissions of human origin, but there are also other sources such as cement factory, deforestation, voluntary fires, or those related to global warming. And then I spoke only about carbon dioxide, which constitutes 76% of greenhouse gas emissions of human origin, but only 41% of the greenhouse effect of human origin, because there is also other gases, such as methane, which constitutes 20% of the greenhouse effect of human origin, but which constitutes only 16% of greenhouse gas emissions, because it has a greenhouse effect 30 times greater than the carbon dioxide. And it comes from the cattle breeding, rice paddies, and the exploitation of carbon energy sources. Not to mention nitrous oxide, by the way. Now the question is, do these emissions have an effect on the climate? Because you could say that it's just a gas in the atmosphere and that it has little or no effect, but then you're going to have to explain to me how it is that gas emissions that have a greenhouse effect, which means they are partially opaque to infrared, which simply means they are black in color, and which are emitted into the atmosphere so significantly, do not actually increase the average temperature of the Earth. And you will also have to explain to me how the abrupt and sudden increase in carbon dioxide and methane emissions has no connection with the abrupt and sudden and synchronized increase in the average temperature of the Earth, which is established by absolutely all measurement methods, direct measurements with a thermometer, analysis of tree rings, coral growth, the proportion of EV isotopes in glaciers, borehole thermometry, or marine sediments. There is also the remark that global warming is not just man-made, it has natural causes, including solar or volcanic activity. Well, to that, I say that that's not what science says. In fact, this skepticism comes from the fact that there is a cyclical evolution of the climate, with regular glacial periods, except that firstly these are glacial periods and not warming phases, and secondly it is in fact directly activated by an increase of CO2 concentration. So because of the greenhouse gases,